What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of History Behind the Horror. I'm your host, Tay, and for tonight's video, we will be talking about a character that's been long awaited since we finished our last Bioshock video, which was about the Big Daddy. I would like to give a special shout out to everyone who supported that video with likes, shares, if they subscribed during that video, or even hit the bell notification, or even left a really nice comment on that video. I really do appreciate it, guys, and I'm sorry that this video took so long to get out, but we finally here. So as always, if you guys would like to see more characters from the Bioshock series, please show support by leaving a like, sharing it, and hitting the bell notification if you haven't already, if you guys would like to get notified when a new video is released, and then put in the comments for what character you would like to see next. And with that being said, thank you guys once again for tuning into this video tonight, and as always, I hope you all enjoy the video. Little Sisters, originally named Gatherers, are young girls who have been genetically altered and mentally conditioned to reclaim Adam from corpses around Rapture. Little Sisters are almost always accompanied by a Big Daddy. They generally are immune to damage outside of being harvested and have no offensive abilities. Attacking them, however, will incur the wrath of their Big Daddy protectors. Adam is excreted by unique sea slugs found near Rapture. The Adam-producing sea slugs did not naturally produce a large enough quantity for serious research and commercial exploitation. Dr. Bridget developed a procedure whereby a sea slug was implanted in a human host stomach, and a symbiotic interaction between host and slug yielded up to 30 times the quantity of usable Adam. Female children, eventually known as Little Sisters after implantation, were found to be the only viable host. Although Bridget hoped to be able to keep the children in a vegetable state, it was found that they had to be fully functional to produce the Adam. They still maintained many of their ordinary characteristics of small children: laughing, playing, smiling, and singing. Frank Fontaine created his Little Sisters orphanage in Apollo Square and other locations as a front to exploit the children as a supply of hosts for Adam production. When Andrew Ryan took over Fontaine Futuristics, he discovered the existence of the children. He found them appalling, but had to accept the necessity of their existence to generate the quantity of Adam Rapture now required. It wasn't long before the entire city became aware of where Adam was really coming from. He shut down those false orphanages and continued to use the Little Wonders educational facility to house the existing Adam host. With the city's Adam addiction endemic and Adam's use to fight the Civil War, shortages were becoming critical. Eventually, as the Civil War body counts grew and the shortages increased, a solution to get additional Adam led to using the children to obtain Adam from corpses. Little Sister Adam hosts were mentally and physically prepared for this grim harvesting role. Ryan, to negate the negativity of the population, betrayed the Little Sisters in a marketing gimmick, their image being used on plasmid and tonic vending machines called Gatherers Gardens, and even produced toy dolls of them. Rapture public announcements introduced them as the salvation of the city, a reassurance of continuing Adam production. With the growing chaos of the Civil War, additional little girls started to be kidnapped directly from their parents. Dr. Shachong, realizing that the need for Adam was greater than the amount produced by the Little Sisters themselves, pioneered a way for them to recycle Adam from the blood of dead splicers, greatly increasing their Adam yield. Naturally, the children were unwilling to cooperate. To overcome this basic obstacle, Dr. Shachong created methods to mentally condition the children. This produced a neurological impulse to recognize the bodies of dead splicers as angels, to make the grisly process of extraction and consuming their Adam-rich blood appealing for the girls.
Now that's fucked up.
Like many of the tools in Rapture, the Little Sisters' Adam extractor syringes were fabricated from common items: large needles, hose nozzles, and baby bottles. To make Little Sisters more effective in their tasks, they were heavily conditioned to see the world of Rapture very different from reality. Instead of seeing the dark, decayed state of the city, they saw an idolized children's world, with the rosy marble floors, pink or red draplings, and flowery vines growing everywhere. Little sisters saw their big daddies as noble golden knights and saw big sisters as brides or princesses with elegant ballroom appeal. Statues appeared to them as heroic big daddies, pools of blood as rose petals, flies as butterflies, random fires on the floor as lit fireplaces, weapons as red plastic toy guns, and the dead bodies of splicers as angels. Men and women lying in elegant repose with the outline of a halo and angelic wings surrounding them. Splicers themselves appeared as handsome and beautiful, taking the form of elegantly dressed men and women in masquerade masks, conversing civilly, when in reality they were violently fighting. This dream world persisted in the girls' day-to-day experience, except for occasional lapses where their senses were brought abruptly back to the grim, twisted reality of Rapture's decay whenever they were frightened or startled. This is also shown to happen while concentrating on the process of gathering Adam from a corpse. However, this could just be due to Delta temporarily losing control over the girl while she harvested Adam. The Alpha Series Big Daddies were a failed line of prototype protectors developed first by Dr. Chachon. The line was completed by Dr. Gilbert Alexander using prisoners from PPC as test subjects. The main difference between the Alpha Series and the other Big Daddies is the nature of their bond to the Little Sisters. Each Alpha Series was created with an unbreakable physiological bond to a single Little Sister. This bond created a failsafe enforced by each Little Sister's pheromone signature. An Alpha Series that wandered too far from his bond partner for an extended period of time would lapse into coma or madness. This bond proved to be too effective, however, as each Big Daddy in the Alpha Series became useless after his little sister was killed by attacking splicers or saved by Bridget. Any Alpha Series model that was not rendered comatose as a result of his little sister being lost descended into emotional instability to the point of psychosis. When the Alpha Series failed, it was discovered that previous Big Daddy models such as the Bouncer and Rosie could be used as more suitable protectors. With physical and neurological drives in place, the Little Sisters eagerly pursued gathering Adam and Rapture. The Adam coursing through their bodies made them virtually indestructible, immediately repairing any damaged tissue. However, they still had the stature and strength of small girls. Thus, they were constant targets for abduction and exploitation. Dr. Chachong, in light of rising mortality rate of Little Sisters, initiated the Protector program. The idea was to create a series of protectors that would defend the Little Sisters from splicer attacks so they could gather Adam without interference. This ambition proved to be more of a challenge than anticipated by the scientists, and numerous attempts were needed to find the right balance of Adam-based conditioning in both the Gatherer and the Protector. The results of the program had each Little Sister paired with a Big Daddy, a heavily spliced human test subject grafted into an enormous armored diving suit. After an unfortunate event leading to the demise of Dr. Chachon, the bond was further strengthened through conditioning employing pheromones. The pheromone produced by the Big Daddy attracted the Little Sisters, and its counterpart produced by the Little Sisters instinctively drove the Big Daddies to defend them with their lives. Once Big Daddies came into full production, the Little Sisters were also put through courses of psychological exercises designed to force them into rejecting all positive feelings towards any mother-type figure and instead place all of their affection upon a generic Big Daddy archetype. As a result, the little girls see every Big Daddy protecting them as the same person and considers the mere mention of the word mommy to be taboo. Because of the pheromones in Chachong's conditioning, the Little Sisters are strongly attached to the Big Daddies, affectionately calling them a number of pet names such as Mr. Bubbles or Mr. B. When a Big Daddy is killed, its little sister will stop whatever she's doing to mourn its death. However, the strong bond between the pairs made the Big Daddies highly aggressive, prompting Ryan to issue public warnings against approaching any Little Sisters to prevent any accidents involving citizens or interference. Removal of the sea slugs from a host under normal circumstances is fatal. Although the host doesn't die immediately, their heartbeat can still be heard. It was likened to taking a patient off of life support. Their demise was unavoidable. In a forced removal, a large amount of Adam can still be obtained from the sea slug. However, Bridget's constant contact with Little Sisters and their unsuppressed childlike behavior eventually caused her to seek a way to safely remove the sea slug. In time, she was able to design a plasmid with the ability to restore such characteristics of the Little Sisters' pre-sea slug states. This is, however, only a physical change. For example, the appearance and voice are returned to a natural state, they lose their atom-producing ability and strength and healing factor, and are less prone to enragement and fear, recognizing the player as a friend. However, they still retain results of their mental conditioning, still treating Big Daddies as parental figures, seeing the world in a dream-like wonderland with angels, and instinctively using vents or using their extractors to drain corpses of Adam. Presumably, the mental conditioning requires a different cure. Bridget established a safe house for restored Little Sisters in the tunnels beneath Olympus Heights for that purpose. After the events of Bioshock, Bridget left the surface, taking as many saved Little Sisters with her. However, Sophia Lamb soon came into power in Rapture and later restarted the Little Sister program to supply the Rapture family with Adam and to further her own plans. There were not enough young girls left in Rapture to supply the Adam cycle, and many of those who remained had matured to the point that they were only useful as Big Sisters. Lamb began a program of kidnapping young girls from the surface to convert them into Little Sisters. Taken by Big Sister protectors, these new Little Sisters were processed in a prison colony under the watchful eye of Edward Grimes and his staff of physicians. The new girls developed a unique psychological bond with Eleanor Lamb, who could see through their eyes and even control them to a certain extent. When Bridget discovered the kidnappings on the surface, she knew immediately where the girls were being taken and what purpose they were to serve. She acquired a submarine and descended to Rapture, expecting to find the missing girls turned into Little Sisters, gathering alongside Big Daddies. So she began recruiting them again. Eventually, Eleanor contacted Bridget through her connection to the Little Sisters, and they created a plan to save the Little Sisters and help Eleanor escape to the surface by resurrecting Subject Delta. After Delta was brought back to life using a Vita chamber in the Adonis Luxury Resort, the Little Sisters began to work with him to help him reach Eleanor. Meanwhile, Bridget reached out to other deactivated Alpha Series Big Daddies throughout Rapture, such as Subject Sigma, and asked for their aid in rescuing the remaining Little Sisters in the city. And that ends yet another episode of History Behind the Horror. If you enjoyed yourself tonight and you would like to see more Bioshock on this channel very soon, please remember to hit the like button, share the video, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because we got new things coming up soon that I'm sure you wouldn't want to miss, and hit the bell notification so you always know when a new episode is available. And also make sure to put in the comments for what episode you would like to see next. That being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight, and as always, if you're not too scared, I will see you on the next episode of History Behind the Horror.